And we are live. What's going on, everyone? It's Friday. A little Steelers talk as we head off into the weekend here. Hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. Actually, let's start off with that. Hope everyone had a great Christmas. Yesterday was Christmas. 2 days ago was Christmas Eve. I was off the grid a little bit from content from YouTube, but now we're back. It is Friday, so we've been going live, and I've really enjoyed the response from you guys. I've enjoyed doing the Friday lives, so that's why we're going to keep doing them. And even though it's a weird week, holiday week, not a typical work week that we experience majority of the weeks of a full year, but I'm like, you know what, whatever. Let's do it. Let's get on here. Let's talk Steelers. A lot of news that's been circulating over the last couple of days. Steelers signed a new cornerback. There's some DK Metcalf updates. A little bit old, but I wanted to give my take reaction on the suspension, the appeal. What do I think actually took place based off all the reporting, all the rumors, all the hearsay that's out there? TJ Watt's back at practice. Who's going to replace DK Metcalf? I'll react to some of your guys' comments in the chat. But actually, before we get into any of that, I got a surprise for you guys. I got a surprise. Even though it's the day after Christmas, the weekend after Christmas, I got a holiday sale for you guys. For the non-losing season champions hats. If you felt like the pricing was a little bit too much for the first month or so that I had them release, if you thought $33.99 was a little too steep, well, Santa Deke is here for you guys. Promo code. And it's actually very fitting that I didn't do this before Christmas or on Christmas, the day after Christmas. I'm always late. I was 2-3 minutes late for today's show. You guys know I'm always fashionably late. Take my time. So for the day after Christmas, we'll do the weekend after Christmas. Whole weekend. Promo code for the hats, 25% off. And we'll call this weekend Deekmas. Merry Deekmas. That's the code. Deekmas. Dekemas. Go to the link. Deke merch. Deke-merch.store. Put whatever hat you want in the cart. Go to buy the hat. Put the promo code in. Deekmas. You'll get 25% off. 25% off. For the whole weekend. From today, from Friday, till we'll go midnight on Sunday. When Sunday goes to Monday, that's when the promo code won't exist anymore. But that's Deekmas for you. Maybe even a little bit better than Christmas, man. Better than Christmas because you get the hats for 25% off. There you go. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Now let's get to the show. Actually, no, let's big business. Exactly. Big business. Before we get to the show, I want to see what you guys I want to see what you guys are saying in the chats. Let's see. Nick Bettner, you're a loyal supporter, man. I see your name pop up a decent amount. Appreciate it, bro. What's up, Deke? Love the Friday lives. I do too. Might even need to start doing just more live shows in general. I'm not gonna lie, they boost my energy. They get me feeling a little bit more alive. The lives get me feeling a little bit more alive than just doing the shows behind the camera offline, and then I got to edit them a little bit. So I don't know. Stay tuned for that. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think? What if we started doing a little bit more lives? Not just Friday. That dude Peavy, let's go, bro. Yo. Roman Wilson legacy game from Adam Barr. Probably not. Probably not. The hope is there, but probably not. Steelers do own the Browns, particularly when Big Ben is our quarterback. But ever since Big Ben left, we're 0-3 in Cleveland. Crazy. Promo code Canada for 3 and out. 100%. Yeah, Deekmas. Dekemas. Deekmas. I'll put it in the comments. I'll put it in all the stuff after the show. Just to let you guys know as a reminder. Come on, dude. What are these comments here? Brooke Deke, thoughts on Darius Hayward-Bay wanting to make a comeback, wide receiver too. Where are you getting that from? Because Phillip Rivers made a comeback. Now just anyone that's been out of the league for 5, 6, 7 years can come back? Come on, bro. X Rawlings, Merry Christmas, Deke. Let's get a hat and t-shirt Saturday night. For the AFC North, yes. We already got our hat from last week locked up, the non-losing season with the 9 wins. We already got that one. Now let's actually get a division. I'm with you there. AFC North. Steelers 043. What's up, Deke? Not much, bro. How about you? Had a great Christmas. Hope you guys did too. Knight Rider 16 was good, Deke. Everything. Steelers 043 says more lies, bro. All right. Don't tell me that. Don't be telling me that, because it might actually happen. It just might. Where do I buy those hats? Yeah, dude, I don't. Let me try in the comments here. I swear to God, this won't come up as a hyperlink. Non-losing season champs hats, and then I'll put the link. That it doesn't come up as a hyperlink, but that is the link right there. Deke-merch.store. Pretty cool. I can't even pin it. I might need to get a new software for this. It's kind of bullshit. I'm losing out on sales, I feel like. I'm missing out on opportunity. This software ain't getting it done. I should be able to pin a chat, hat, link, everything right there. Sorry, I'm maybe getting too much into the weeds of behind the scenes stuff. Business stuff. Not enough Steelers talk right now. I've been doing that. I'm sorry. I'm just excited about the hats, bro. I just really am. I'm sorry. Hope you guys appreciate that. But that's the link right there. Deekmas promo code. The link works. Okay. Yeah, maybe you got to copy and paste. It's just not showing up as a hyperlink on my end. But I can't pin it. This is stupid as hell. I'm supposed to be the one in command and control over here, and I can't even pin a damn comment. That's crazy. Wait, maybe. Hold on. What's this do? I started. What'd that do? No, that didn't do anything for me. That didn't do anything. Oh, well. All right. Let's... Oh, it shows up as a hyperlink. Okay, cool. Cool. Nice. Good to know. Appreciate that. Anyway, let's get to some topics here. First, Tre Flowers. Steelers signed Tre Flowers. Just a couple. Was it yesterday? It was yesterday or 2 days ago. Wasn't really expecting that, but makes a ton of sense considering James Pierre looking like he's still out with this calf injury, and Brandon Echols goes down last week with a groin. So our secondary, a little bit depleted. And in terms of a guy you're bringing in and you feel like can actually plug and play for you and not screw things up too bad, not screw things up in a royal fashion, Tre Flowers, not bad, right? Not bad. Not the best, but at this point, 2 weeks left in the season, guys that are out there available, free agents, you could do worse. You could do worse. Tre Flowers, bigger-bodied cornerback, fits what the Steelers have been looking for, that archetype we've been seeking with a JPJ, bringing in a Jalen Ramsey, signing a Darius Slay, even though the Darius Slay thing didn't really work out. He's a more bigger, physical cornerback, not to the degree of JPJ or Ramsey, but he's at least above 6 foot. James Pierre, low-key, taller than you would think. Asante Samuel Jr., now we signed him just a few weeks ago, and he's getting snaps. He's carved out a role. He's on the shorter end, but he's almost like a Steve Smith on the defensive front. Steve Smith of cornerbacks, because he plays bigger than what his size actually is. Like Steve Smith, AB on offense as receivers, like you don't think of them as being small receivers. You don't feel like they play like a Calvin Austin. No, they play bigger than what their body type is, and I think Asante Samuel Jr. is kind of like that. So in terms of just fitting the avatar, big, physical, cornerback archetype Steelers have been seeking in that secondary, seeking in that cornerback room, Tre Flowers, he does that. Now, he's definitely past his prime. 30 years old, hasn't really been a starter in, it looks like, I'm looking at his Pro Football Reference right now. It's about 2-3 years. I mean, actually even longer than that. He's been more of like a role type of cornerback going back to 2021. Started with Seattle, then went to Cincinnati. Was more of a role cornerback, like their third or fourth guy on the depth chart. Meanwhile, in Seattle, he was one of their starters. Played pretty decent in Seattle, but has just been on a gradual decline for most of his career since his Seattle days. Ever since going from Seattle to Cincy, it really hasn't been the same for him. But in terms of a guy that can plug and play right now, be a depth guy for us in case we need him, which we might, because, I mean, after JPJ, after Asante Samuel, with Eccles being out, with Pierre being out, it's kind of bleak in that cornerback room. It really is. Like, we got a Jalen Ramsey who can bump up, but we know he's made the full-time move to safety, and we're trying to keep him there. Kyle Duggar, he's our other safety. Dante Kent's hurt. Corey Trice is hurt. Yeah, bro, you're talking about like Sebastian Castro. We do have 4 safeties, so you would maybe be able to pull off a Jalen Ramsey, bump him back to cornerback. Chuck Clark, Jabril Peppers are our depth safeties. You could bump one of them up to be one of our starting safeties in the short term. I don't see a big problem with that, but I've really liked Jalen Ramsey at safety. I feel like the Steelers have as well. So, yeah, Tre Flowers right now is literally our third corner. If you're just going separate positions, cornerback, safety, Tre Flowers is our third corner. If you want to include the full secondary, maybe Tre Flowers is, 6th or 7th guy on the totem pole if we want to be versatile in how we use a Chuck Clark, a Peppers, a Jalen Ramsey, and a Duggar. But we needed to make an addition one way or another, and it's not a surprise. The pickup didn't go to practice squad first, and then we had him sit for a little bit and then bring him up to the active roster. We need a guy right now. We flat out need a guy right now. With Pierre and Eccles being out, tough. And it looks like we're going to get both of them back before the playoffs. Like, these aren't season-ending injuries or anything like that. But for the time being, yeah, we could use an extra guy. Just like a receiver. Wouldn't hurt to pick up an Allen Lazard. I know there's talks about us bringing in, not talks necessarily. It is happening. Roman Wilson is going to be getting an opportunity this week. Mike Tomlin said so much in his press conference, with DK Metcalf being out, Calvin Austin being hurt with that injury. So let's transition a little bit to this receiver talk. What do we do without DK Metcalf? But before we get into that, before we get into like the logistics of the roster and the Steelers depth chart and snap counts with the receivers, let's talk about the DK scenario just a little bit more briefly before we get into that, because DK was officially suspended for the 2 games, had the appeal. The appeal was denied. The NFL upheld it, so DK is going to be missing the rest of the Steelers' regular season. Officially, he's going to be out for Week 17, Week 18. And DK has his side of the story. The fan in the altercation has his side of the story. And from my standpoint, like, DK's standing on what he's saying. He's doubling down. Like, James Harrison came out on Twitter and responded to a Mina Kimes tweet and said the dude was saying the stuff that DK insinuated that the fan said back in Seattle, and the NFL didn't have any, punishment for that fan back then, and, like, he's still able to go to games and everything. And then, obviously, the DK and fan interaction took place again in this game with DK being a Steeler. And the fan is doubling down, saying that, yeah, I didn't say what DK is accusing me of. And the NFL did their investigation, and they're clearing the fan of any wrongdoing, of any misconduct, and he's going to be able to still go to future games and everything like that. I think the NFL and Detroit both did. And they also upheld DK's suspension for 2 games. So that's like all the information we have out there right now. And the fan also, just right before I went live, did like a press conference or something, and again denied DK Metcalf's claims that the fan called DK what DK said he did. And this was the official quote. I didn't use any racial slurs, no hate speech. I mean, none of that stuff at the game. Actually, never. 15 years, season ticket holder for the Lions. Never done that at all. So to Kalen, if you're watching this, man, if you could just say that, please. So he's trying to get his name cleared. Here's my guess. I'm just going to take a bird's eye view approach of this. It seems like DK is, from everything I've seen with him and how he interacts with media and how he interacts or just goes about his business, like, he's a pretty stand-up guy. It doesn't seem like he's one to just make stuff up out of thin air or even be one to entertain some fans' nonsense at a game. So, like, there had to have been something. You know what I mean? There had to have been something that spurred DK to act like this and also insinuate what he did after the game. Now, again, it's he said right now, but I'm piecing things together. My guess is this fan said some of the stuff that DK was saying at the Seattle game last year, and, like, that stuck with DK. That really pissed him off because there's no proof or anything right now, at least, that he said it again in this game. But, like, that's the history behind it. And it's like, bro, I'm just not going to let that slide. And then you're coming in here again and disrespecting me again and saying some stuff again. Maybe it wasn't as far as what it was in the Seattle game, but it's like, bro, I'm going to address this. So, like, the NFL didn't know or perhaps didn't investigate or do anything about it when it took place with the Seattle Lions game. And that just, was swept under the rug. But then the fan shows up again and has some things to say to DK in this one, and then DK addresses it. So, like, I could see, like, how a lot of these sides of the story could be true where DK saying the fan said this stuff. Maybe it wasn't in this game. Maybe it was at the last game. But then the fan's here again, and he's instigating DK, and DK wanted to go over and address it. It's like, bro, you said that shit last year. Like, I'm just not going to let, like, some of your disrespect slide. But all the eyes were on this interaction compared to anything that took place last year because the camera was on it, and then you got fans filming it and stuff. And it looks like the fan was able to get by any misconduct or anything for this one because we don't have evidence that he said anything that DK insinuated. So maybe it was. That's what I'm saying. Maybe it was in the prior game where the fan said this stuff. Still, like, so I don't know. That's my guess. I'm playing a little bit of detective here. I'm just taking some jabs at this, some guesses at maybe what took place. But unfortunate scenario all around. Unfortunate. DK's put in a lose-lose scenario. I was hoping the suspension would be less than the 2 games. Would be 1 max, but it's 2. He had the appeal. NFL said the fan didn't have any misconduct. We're not banning him from any games. Like, the suspension is going to be upheld. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to throw in there too. It's just lose-lose for DK. He's unfortunately got to be the bigger man. I was saying this though. It's one of those like talks that you have with the family around Christmas time or maybe with your buddies at a bar. Like, I feel like the NFL, like, this is one of the takes I had. I feel like the NFL or any of these leagues, if a fan wants to say stuff to a player, they should go like the Barstool rough and rowdy approach. Like, if you're going to say stuff to a player, like say out-of-pocket things, really disrespect the player, allow the player and the fan to settle it mano-a-mano, one-on-one. I mean, this is the entertainment industry. So, like, in that scenario, allow it. Once you step in the arena, both fan, player, and if the fan wants to get into it with the player, say some things, let the player respond because we know none of that stuff really, like, in terms, because there's always a line. Like, trash talk's trash talk. Fans can, there's a certain line that you shouldn't be crossing. And what DK insinuated about this fan, that's clearly crossing the line, right? Like, that shouldn't be happening in this setting. But if that line gets crossed by the fan, I think we should kind of let the law slide here. Like, throw it. If you're in this arena, in this setting, let them duke it out one-on-one, mano-a-mano, and may the best man win. Like, that's entertaining to me. Like, I think that's, if a fan wants to be a jagoff, fan wants the attention, it's like, all right, let's give him the attention that he wants and see how he handles it. because again, this isn't happening in real life. You're protected because you're a fan in the stadium, and maybe you could argue like that's what fans pay for. But again, there's a line. There's a line that you should not be crossing, and whenever you go over that line and become a complete jag-off jackass, and there's disrespect and that type of shit, it's like, all right, maybe we should just allow some shit to happen. But listen, that's from like a consumer. That's from just a fan, half-baked idea standpoint. I know leagues can't allow that to happen. Like, trust me. Like, this is just a goofy take thrown out there. Not honestly a goofy take. I mean, I think it is kind of like, if we're talking just for entertainment purposes, I would have liked to seen DK knock out that fan, right? I would have liked to, if what DK said, that fan said, is accurate, and there's some history there, whatever it is. Yeah, I you know what? I'd like to see DK knock out that fan. That fan's seeking that attention. The fan's like, that's exactly what I was trying to do. All right, let's see what it looks like if that wall wasn't separating you guys and you weren't up in the stands and you and DK were face to face on the sidelines, and anything can go. I think like that's what I would want from a fan standpoint, like just a pure entertainment interest standpoint. But yes, pie in the sky type of idea, half-baked idea. Not going to happen. Leagues can't have that happen because the slippery slope that takes place, malice at the palace. You're trying to have a professional environment out there. You're trying to conduct a professional sports atmosphere, sports league. So, and that type of shit would probably be happening every game. Those would become more of the storylines than the actual game, as we see here with just this little dust up between DK and this fan. This has been one of the main storylines this week over the Steelers-Lions game. Honestly, that would be my guess, though. There is some history here. Maybe the fan didn't say it in this game, Steelers-Lions, but he said it back then, and DK remembered it. And this dude's doing some jag-off type of stuff again and calling DK by his government name. And DK's like, bro, you're not only saying this, but you said even worse stuff last time. Like, I didn't forget that. Like, let me go up and address this. That would be my guess for the whole situation. Because I don't think DK is just making some stuff up out of thin air over here and is going over to the stands for no reason. Just because the dude's saying his government name. And then the fact that they have history. Maybe that was the history. That was the history. The fan using racial slurs and saying out-of-pocket things about DK's mom. And then, again, DK remembered the dude and wanted to address it. All right, man. All right. What else did I want to get into? Because I wanted to parlay that DK conversation into who is DK's replacement. Because obviously he's going to be out for these 2 weeks, unfortunately. Calvin Austin's out. And Tomlin is saying Roman Wilson might be getting some opportunity here. So that leaves our receivers as MVS, Adam Thielen, Scotty Miller, Ben Skoranek, Roman Wilson. Along with our tight ends, we obviously know we like to utilize Darnell, Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, and we use Gainwell and Warren in the passing game as well. But now Roman Wilson is going to be getting a helmet this week. Where does DK's production go? Tomlin said it's a great opportunity for Roman Wilson. I just don't see all of a sudden Roman Wilson putting up 4 or 5 catches for like 60 or 70 yards, though, out of thin air. We just got done benching him for the last few weeks. Once we elevated Thielen and MVS, Roman Wilson was already, I think, expendable at that point. But to the fact that we're giving Scotty Miller a helmet over Roman Wilson, it's like now all of a sudden, just because DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin, I don't see it, because we still utilize tight ends. We still utilize Darnell, Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, Jalen Warren, Gainwell. Like, if the distrust was already there between Rodgers and Roman Wilson, how is it all of a sudden going to be better? Now, I think Roman could get some snaps. Like, he could fill Calvin Austin's role a little bit. But if we're talking about someone filling Calvin Austin's role, why wouldn't it be Scotty Miller, who's coming off of 3 big catches last week, 3 consecutive catches, all for big-time first downs, where it seems like there's already a better rapport there between Rodgers and Scotty Miller than a Roman Wilson. And Scotty Miller's barely played this year, but he got the opportunity last week and all of a sudden making some clutch catches. I feel like Miller would be the one over Roman Wilson to fill in that Calvin Austin role a little bit quicker. I mean, that would be my thought. But if Tomlin's saying he's excited for Roman Wilson's opportunity, maybe I'm proven wrong. And we're going to go out of our way to get Roman Wilson some snaps, Roman Wilson some PT. It would make more sense if the game doesn't mean anything. If the Ravens lose tomorrow night and we're already locked into the playoffs, AFC North, 4 seed, that's all taken care of, home playoff game, then yeah, maybe we go out of our way for Roman Wilson's development in the offense. But if the game means something, why all of a sudden is Roman Wilson going to be getting PT and going to be getting like 7-8 targets with DK? I don't know. I don't see it. Like with MVS, Thielen clearly having the higher priority in the Steelers wide receiver room. Next man up I would think would be Scotty Miller. And then you're still utilizing Darnell, Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, Warren, Gainwell. Like, I could easily see a formation where you have still MVS and Thielen as your top 2 receivers, and you use 2 tight ends and have a running back, right? Freiermuth, Darnell out there, Jonnu, Freiermuth, and MVS and Thielen, and then Kenneth Gainwell. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, we'll see Roman Wilson a little bit, but I'm not expecting too much. That's my take on the whole situation. It's good for him to get back out there. One man's misfortune is another man's opportunity. DK with the suspension opens things up for Roman Wilson. Calvin Austin with the injury. I'm assuming he's not going to play in this game. Opens things up for Roman Wilson. I don't really have too high of expectations, though. I'm sorry. I liked, and this is the thing. It's not like I'm needing a Roman Wilson right now. It's cool for his future, but right now our offense is cooking as is. It's not like I'm asking Roman Wilson to come in here, really prove something so he could save our offense for the rest of the season. Not at all. Offense has been doing fine without Roman Wilson. Ever since we inserted MVS and Thielen, we've been fine. I haven't been missing Roman Wilson at all. Yeah, like this formation right here, Thielen, MVS, Washington, Pat. Or you replace one of the tight ends for Jonnu. Like, I don't know, man. Like, sure, I'm sure there's going to be a 3-receiver set out there. Thielen, MVS, and then it's between Roman Wilson and Scotty Miller. I'm sure that could be the case. And you have a tight end, you have a running back out there. But then how many targets is Roman Wilson going to get out of that group? Who knows? Hopefully I'm proven wrong. Hopefully Roman Wilson gets 5 or 6 catches, 60, 70 yards. He actually gets incorporated into the offense. But right now, I would love to see the over-under for Roman Wilson. I don't even know if they have it up just yet. Or if they would, just because Roman Wilson's name doesn't carry too much weight right now. I would guess the over-under would be like 20 yards. Maybe, probably even less than that. Probably 15. Byron Nelson saying Miller should get the opportunity over Wilson. I think, because who's faster between the two? I don't even know. Like, Scotty Miller's pretty fast. Roman Wilson feels a little bit more like a downfield threat than Scotty Miller. Can run some posts over the middle. A little bit better on just vertical routes, beating his guy off the jump and getting some separation. Miller feels a little bit more shifty with the ball in his hands. Probably a little bit better route runner. I don't know if he's that much slower than Roman Wilson, though. And that's the thing we're missing with Calvin Austin not being in the lineup. That's why I'm talking about speed. So who would be able to replace Calvin Austin's speed and that dynamic better? I don't know. I don't think it's too much of a difference between the two. And then I think it just leans on heaviest who has most chemistry with Aaron Rodgers between Miller and Wilson. And right now it seems like Scotty Miller, just off of last week. Do a bundle deal on the hats. I could. Actually, that's a really good idea. Maybe we'll do a bundle deal. We'll do a bundle deal after this one. Stay tuned. Maybe a New Year's bundle deal. Let me just get through. Listen, this is my first time doing just a promo code in general. Let me get through this weekend with Deekmas. Deekmas promo code. Hats right here. Deek-merch.store. Top them up. All right, that's it for DK Metcalf, Roman Wilson talk. Had my guess of the whole DK situation there and how it played out. Putting all the pieces together. Playing Sherlock Holmes. And with DK being out, I just think it's going to be, the offense is going to be spread around. I don't think we run the offense necessarily the same exact way. I think Rodgers is going to spread the ball out to a bunch of different guys. Maybe we run the ball a little bit more going up against Cleveland. Cleveland's running attacks, or run defense is really not that good. We should be able to have success against them. They're all right. Actually, they're all right. They're all right. They're decent in yards per carry given up, but teams have had success by just continuing to run the ball against them. They're bottom half of the league in yards given up and just overall production given up on the ground. They're better at pass defense, a little bit better at pass defense. So I could see road game Cleveland, bad weather. We're going to be trying to run the ball anyway, and it's not going to be this like crazy air attack game plan. All right, we got some paid super chats here that I want to get to. Justin Gordon, both of them. Thanks, bro. The End Zone boys in Tennessee thrive on shit talking. You talking about the Titans? I don't know about these guys. I know the Browns got the dog pound. The Titans? Are you talking about Tennessee Volunteers? I would guess you're talking about the Titans. I didn't know they actually had like a nickname for their fan base or nickname for a certain pocket of fans. Justin Gordon, let's not fool ourselves on the last 3 games. We were all crying for a wide receiver 2, never got one. Offense will feel Collins' neglect to wide receiver 2 now that we don't have a wide receiver 1. That may be the case. Unfortunately, us not having our wide receiver 1 anymore was kind of self-inflicted here. Had nothing to do with DK going down with injury, and that was the type of scenario that we were concerned about. And I think it was a fair thing to bring up. And we talked about it last year when we just had Pickens. It's like, dude, if Pickens goes down, and we saw that for a couple weeks. When Pickens was out a couple weeks there, our offense was hurting. We had freaking Mike Williams and Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin as like our top 3 receivers. And then we still had Najee Harris. The offense was pretty bad, bro. It was pretty bad. Maybe we were a little too harsh on Russ and his poor play down the stretch, even though he didn't play good. Let's just flat out right. And then you see what happens this year with the Giants. It was 100% the right move for the Steelers to move off of Russ and Najee. No explosiveness in that offense last year. Boomer bust with Russ, just chucking it downfield, not throwing it across the middle or doing the check down. Like that was the Russ Wilson approach. Meanwhile, with Rodgers, we see he can still make every throw, dissect the defense multiple ways, and get us in the right plays, whether it is pass or run. You saw that last week with the Kenneth Gainwell, Jalen Warren surgence in that second half. Some of that was Rodgers, checks, audibles, motioning a guy over to the one side, help with the blocking. What's the status on Jordan Love? He's questionable. Both him and Malik Willis are questionable. We just need at least one of those 2 to play, preferably Jordan Love. But we need one of those 2 to play. Lamar Jackson is going to be doubtful, likely out. Ravens will have to go with Tyler Huntley. Malik Willis and that Packers team could definitely beat Tyler Huntley. Definitely. I mean, they could arguably beat Lamar Jackson and that Ravens team. I think Malik Willis is actually pretty good. But if they got Jordan Love, it's all swinging in the Packers' favor. All of it. I guess so, right? With that Lions loss yesterday, Green Bay's in the playoffs. They don't really need to play starters, so don't look too far ahead. Are they locked in? Are they locked in? Because I know with the Lions loss, that definitely, I think, eliminated their playoff chances from what I can remember whenever I was watching it. I was hearing some stuff. That was brutal. Does that Lions win for us not look as good now? They just lost to the Vikings with fucking Brosmer as their quarterback. Brosmer, and the fact that I think their total passing yards for the game was like -7. And the Lions lost. Now, granted, a lot of it was stupid-ass turnovers. I mean, that was insane. You want to talk about turnovers and getting lucky and keeping a team in the game. Lions made sure the Vikings, they literally gifted the game to the Vikings. They made sure they were staying in that game despite having no firepower. No J.J. McCarthy. Brosmer sucks. I think, Jefferson only had like 20 yards receiving. Net passing was -7. I want to pull up the stat because I think, did they finish like that? At one point late in the fourth quarter, it was -7. It was crazy. It was that reverse to Addison. And I put a lot of money on the Lions too. Once the Lions got down, there was still like 7 or 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put some money down on the Lions. Let me get this money line because they're the better team. It's just that they're doing stupid stuff with these turnovers. 3 passing yards. Brosmer finished with. Well, 51, but he took 7 sacks, 48 yards. 51 minus 48. 3 total passing yards for the Vikings yesterday. My God. But yeah, Lions look bad, bro. Lions look bad. All right, what else do we want to get into? Oh, let me get some clarification here. No hurries, no worries. GB is locked in, but they could win the division with 2 wins. Bears losing out. Okay. I haven't heard word from this on DeShon Elliott coming back for the playoffs. I thought he was out for the full season. That's what it was looking like to me. That's what the initial reports were saying. That would be, I don't know how I would play that. I don't think I'd mess with it, honestly. If Pierre and Eccles can come back, I wouldn't mess with Elliott that much. I would activate him, but he'd have to knock some rust out. That injury was brutal. Our secondary's been cooking as is. Our secondary has a really nice combination going with all the starters being healthy. When it's Pierre, Eccles, JPJ, Asante as our top 4 corners. That's a lethal group right now. Who would have thought we'd be saying that if we went back to the beginning of the season or, first month of the season? Our starting cornerback combination, and we're going to be loving it, is going to be JPJ as the 1, Asante Samuel Jr., James Pierre is like our 2, depending on who's healthy, and then Brandon Eccles in the slot. Darius Slay's not on the team anymore. Jalen Ramsey's playing safety. He's played safety at a high level and made a Pro Bowl. And we traded for Kyle Duggar, a 6th-round pick for Kyle Duggar, and he's our other starting safety. Could you imagine if we said that was our starting secondary? What are we in? Week 17 of the season, and it actually works. It's actually better than the combination that we initially had going into the season of Ramsey, Slay, JPJ, Elliott, and who was our other starting safety with Elliott? It was like Chuck Clark? It was supposed to be Chuck Clark / am I missing something here? I know we picked up Jabril Peppers. I mean, and I know there was always talks about Jalen Ramsey doing safety stuff, but who was? Am I missing something? Because obviously we didn't have Duggar, Sean Elliott, Peppers, Clark, Killebrew. Was that it for our safeties? And then Killebrew, and then obviously Jalen Ramsey. I feel like I'm missing someone. Did we cut someone? Or I don't know. But either way, that is a way better secondary situation, safety, cornerback situation than what we initially intended, what we got going right now. Who would have thought we'd pick up Asante Samuel off the streets. James Pierre, he's forced into a starting role because of Darius Slay's injury and poor play, and James Pierre becomes graded out as one of the best corners in the league right now. Month sample size, I get it, but Pierre's been a godsend. Juan Thornhill. There we go. Thank you. I knew I was missing someone. So, right, that initial safety room of Juan Thornhill, Chuck Clark, DeShon Elliott, and Peppers, compared to what it is now. We have Jalen Ramsey and Duggar. Plus the corners being different. It's like, wow, this is way better than what we expected, what we anticipated. Yeah, we cut Thornhill middle of the season. He wasn't playing good. He was playing bad. We got rid of the weak links, Thornhill and Slay, for sure. If you had to point to two guys that were showing lack of effort and just didn't seem like they had it anymore, didn't care to be out there, it was both Juan Thornhill and Darius Slay. Clear as day. Now we got guys that are dogs, want to be out there, hitting hard, tackling. Sante Sammy Jr., Pierre. JBJ's been a steadying force. I would say after the first month and a half of the season, Porter Jr.'s had a solid close to this season. And we were talking about Pro Bowl snubs. I think he does have a case, especially over at Denzel Ward. He really is. Joey Porter Jr. is balling right now from Andrell Dalton. Yeah, Clark hasn't been that good for us, but I don't think the expectations were too high. He was a nice depth pickup, rotational safety. I think he's been more of a positive than a negative, I'd say. If you're counting on him to be your starting safety, play 50, 60 snaps, I think you're in trouble. But for a rotational role, need someone in a pinch, he's fine. All right, what else we got? Talk DK. Talk Tre Flowers. Talk Roman Wilson. TJ back at practice. What do you guys think of TJ? TJ's back at practice. Should he play this week? Because I'm seeing stuff from Pelissero that says the Steelers are actually mulling whether or not TJ should play this week. He's actually maybe a little bit had a schedule than what I expected, or what most of us expected after experiencing that punctured lung. Yeah, he says Steelers weighing giving TJ Watt another week of rest. So with him practicing, I guess it's like kind of serious that he could play this week. The turnaround could be that quick. I know there was a ton of mixed things being thrown out there when we were going to see TJ again. Might be out for the whole season. Might not see him till the playoffs. He might go for the Browns. Now that he's practicing, really good sign that he's practicing. I mean, you love to see that. So you would expect him to be out there when we need him. If there's a game where playoffs are on the line, like week 18, if somehow, some way we lose against the Browns, comes down to week 18, Ravens, and they beat the Packers, it looks like I would guess TJ could play in that game. And if a meaningful game isn't until the playoffs, TJ will play in the playoffs. That would be my guess, but even the thought of him playing this week is, I don't even know, from my standpoint, I don't know if it's something to think about. I think you let him sit another week. I think it'd be insane to get TJ Watt out there. If the defense just looked like what it did last week against the Lions without TJ, without Herbig, we had our best run defense game the whole year. I thought Sawyer played good. Obviously, Highsmith's been picking it up. Harmon's back out there. It's like, bro, we could do without TJ for another week, especially going up against the Browns. Going up against Shedeur Sanders, an offense that doesn't have Judkins out there. Browns' offense it's abysmal. It's absolutely abysmal. Judy is their number one. They have Fannin as like their top target, like tight end. If he's your top target and Judy's getting like you 500 yards, you have Cedric Tillman and Isaiah Bond. Like that offense is bleak, bro. Absolutely bleak. No Judkins out there. And that's what some of the Browns' successes come off of, Judkins just being a flat outright good talent and good running back. But now that they don't even have him anymore, Shedeur's a little limited. There's more and more tape coming out with him. Like, he doesn't scare me. Like, and we talked about this with Shedeur. I think his ceiling is like a Baker Mayfield, is like a Kirk Cousins. So it's like you get Shedeur only how many starts into his rookie year with anemic surroundings in that Browns offense. We could go without TJ. We should be able to. If we feel like we need TJ in this game, that's a problem to me. Now, it could be must win if the Ravens lose. Not technically, because you would still have another week to lock up the AFC North, but to me, it's must win. Don't even let it get to Steelers-Ravens week 18. All the marbles are on that game, because you know how close Steelers-Ravens games can get and how fluky some of that stuff can go. the later into those games and how decisions and the game flow can be dictated by refs and all that type of shit. You don't want that. You don't want that. Even though it is going to be at home, don't let it get to that point. Please don't. View this one as must win. And it's funny I'm saying that. It's like very much contrasting with let TJ sit, but we don't need TJ. We're 2-0 without TJ. I think part of me is just thinking our defense is I'm not gonna say better without TJ, but we are just fine. I just saw the best defense for the Steelers last week against the Lions offense, high octane offense, and it did involve TJ Watt. So that's why I'm saying it is must win, but also let TJ rest a week. Conflicting, it definitely comes off as conflicting opinions there. Conflicting sentiments. Like, how is that possible? It's must win against the Browns. If the caveat is if the Ravens win. If they don't, you're definitely don't even think about playing TJ. Don't. Maybe if you want to play TJ Ravens game, treat it as a preseason game, couple reps, first couple series or something like that, just to knock the rust off. But yeah, you're not seriously considering playing TJ any significant amount rest of the season if the Ravens lose on Saturday. Sampson's not a bad running back. I'm talking about the Browns. Shifty. Yeah, I get what you're saying. He's a shifty runner coming out of Tennessee. I liked him. I mean, I thought the Browns got a steal with him late in that draft. I would have liked to take him. There were a lot of good running backs in this draft class, and we talked about that. Like Woody Marks with the Texans. He was a late round pick. I was talking about the Steelers maybe picking him up. He was a guy that I thought was being slept on. JV free. In all likelihood, the Steelers will secure the playoff spot tomorrow, but just be ready for worst case and get Lazard. That's the other thing. Going back to like the Roman Wilson conversation and replacing DK Metcalf. I low-key would feel better about our offense if we had Allen Lazard out there. As much as it pains me to say because of how much we joked about Lazard somehow finding his way to the Steelers just because Rodgers is here. He's a Rodgers merchant. Wouldn't you feel a little bit better if your top three receivers were Lazard, Thielen, and MVS than Roman Wilson, Thielen, and MVS? Am I off there? Am I off? I would not be opposed to picking up Lazard. Worst case, you just have him on the practice squad. We don't need him right now. We don't need him. This would be a good opportunity to get him involved, though, with DK being out and Calvin Austin being hurt. Yeah, that was pretty cool, actually. Yeah, Duck and Snoop. That was a good little halftime show. I did see that. That was funny. Diamond 4, you like Lazard better than... You're talking about Deontay Johnson? Yes, I would. With Rodgers being here, yes. Yes, I would. If we had Big Ben, if Big Ben pulled a Phillip Rivers, I would probably bring back Deontay. I mean, Big Ben and Deontay had production together. Josh the Drummer 07, there is a reason nobody wants Lazard, though. What is that reason? I mean, he was on the Jets. He was on the Jets under a new regime with a rotating carousel of quarterback Fields and Tyrod Taylor. I don't even know who their most recent quarterback. Isn't it Cook, a quarterback from Missouri or something that's playing out there? Rotating door of quarterbacks that are all playing subpar. New offense compared to what he had with Rodgers. You could say the same thing about Thielen, but it's been working out here because Thielen, I think, had the same numbers as Lazard. Thielen's second stint with the Vikings this last season in 2025. He only had 7-8 receptions, 70 yards. I think that's all Lazard has with the Jets. But sometimes all it takes is fit and for somebody to want you, to need you. And I think if the Steelers felt strongly about bringing in Lazard, it could work out. Maybe not to the extent of what Lazard and Rodgers did in Green Bay or what they did with the Jets because of just where we're at on the season timeline. 2 weeks left in the regular season, about to head into the playoffs. But I don't think it would be the worst idea. I really don't. I could see... I think the Steelers would be the only good fit for Lazard because of Rodgers. I don't see any other team being gun-ho on signing Lazard. I'll give you that. Like, nobody around the league wants him. He's still available. He's still chilling there. I get that. Because, like, where's Lazard going to fit in right now? Teams that aren't making the playoffs aren't trying to sign Lazard. They don't give a shit. And then teams that are in the playoffs, it's like maybe there is a team that could use a receiver. I don't know what team that is off the top of my head. But if so, it's like, I mean, is Lazard really jumping in like that, coming in cold, and is going to be better than someone that's already on their depth chart, that's already been there for the full season, going back to training camp and all that type of stuff? They probably would just prefer the next man up approach. Lazard makes sense here just because of Rodgers has literally been Lazard's quarterback this whole time, outside of whenever Rodgers got hurt his first year with the Jets. So, yeah, it really would be the only fit that would make sense, and where you would say the Steelers actually want Lazard, could need Lazard because of his relationship with Rodgers. But even at that, there's no eagerness from the Steelers side, clearly, with TK being out and Calvin being hurt. Yeah, I guess we don't care that much about bringing in Lazard. Don't feel like it's a fit for whatever reason. It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt to do the practice squad thing, and that's like my main takeaway for it. It just wouldn't hurt to throw him on practice squad, have him chill. If we don't call him up, we don't call him up. We were doing that with MVS. We threw him on practice squad. He was there for like 3 weeks. Our offense was looking anemic, and it's like, okay, let's try something else. We'll call up MVS, see if that works, and it worked out. Oh, Brandon Johnson. Who? No, I know who he is. Yes, I would easily take Lazard over Brandon Johnson. Easily. Absolutely. But Steelers are familiar with him a little bit. He's been one of those practice squad guys, bouncing up and down, either getting cut, practice squad, or like we call him to the active for a game or two in a season. I think that's been the case with him over the last 2 or 3 seasons. I think. I might even be giving him too much credit for his time here. But I do recognize the name. I do. Probably a lot of you guys don't in the chat. Or maybe I'm not giving you guys enough credit for your ball knowledge. So he was just here for 3 games in 2024. But it feels like he's one of those guys that we have around for like training camp and stuff. Extra body in the off season. Get some work in preseason games. I like this question. Would you rather see us play the Chargers or the Bills at home? I don't think it matters. We're gonna have to win a tough game or two. Just gonna have to. Yeah, all these teams in the AFC are good. Even the Texans, they have a really good defense. I'm like not that big of a believer in Stroud. I think Stroud's solid, top 15-ish, top 12-ish, but they're a good team. I wouldn't surprise if I'll put it to you this way. I wouldn't be surprised if we win or lose to anyone. Because you can make a case for the Bills. They have Josh Allen, but we were up against them the first game. What was it, 7-3 at half? We were up, and then the 2 screwy plays coming right out of halftime, the Rodgers fumble and then the Mason pick, completely flipped the game. And then that's when the Fire Tomlin chants rained down and the booing of Renegade happened. And then the season turned around. The hats were made. The hats came in. And now look at us. It was the breaking point we needed. It was the turning point we needed. Whenever they do the Super Bowl DVD, if we win, I mean, that's going to be a part that's really highlighted. That's going to be the turning point moment of the season. They'll get the announcer, the narrator to do some like deep voice. We'll get some theatrics. We'll get some music getting played in there. And this is when the Steelers season really turned around. And hopefully they could show like my hat or something. Hopefully the hat could get some what do I want to say? Some camera time on the Super Bowl DVD. Because the hats are the things that started it all. I think it's the hats and the Fire Tomlin chants, the booing of Renegade. That day is when it all changed. Maybe Lazard doesn't want to be on a practice squad. It's free money. Why not? I know it's not up to par with some of the contracts he's made, but Gives him an opportunity to be on a team that could win a Super Bowl if he gets called up too. That's one of the things he was looking for with a future team this season. Someone he could join, go on a playoff run with. Long for the ride. Get you a ring maybe if the Steelers could pull it off, even if you're on practice squad. Diamond 4. I would love to beat Green Bay in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's the script right there. That would be the optimal NFL script if you want to play fun and poke fun at the NFL for scripting this shit out, scripting these seasons out, and having the most drama and storylines possible, all dialed up from the very start. Then, I mean, this is it. This is it. And the fact, too, where were we at a few weeks ago? Middle of the season. Fire Tomlin. Rodgers ain't really playing that good. Steelers season all to hell. Like, that plays a part of it, too. It's like, wow, who would have thought? I mean, things were looking so bad. Rodgers injured. Rodgers injured left wrist, too. That's another thing you could throw into that storybook ending right there. Steelers-Packers Super Bowl. Rodgers broken left wrist. Looks like he doesn't want to be out there. Bloodied nose. Steelers season all to hell. Fire Tomlin chance. Then all of a sudden Rodgers is playing his old team in the Super Bowl. Crazy. And the fact that we lost to Green Bay at home and got pounded by them in his first matchup against them. Rodgers wasn't able to pull off the beat all 32 teams in the league stat the first time around, but then the NFL gives him the second time around in the Super Bowl too. Another factor right there. Back to the Bills-Chargers, because I'm seeing some of you guys still in the chat talking about who you want to play in the playoffs. 808 Keem says, we'd love to see New England or Denver. It's like, those are good teams too. I would probably prefer the inexperienced quarterbacks first over the experienced ones. Bills-Chargers, we got smoked by both teams. I think the Chargers have a much better defense than the Bills, but the Bills have Josh Allen. I don't know. Because you could look at both of those games. I felt like the Steelers' defense in moments did all right against the Chargers on that Sunday night game. Did all right. They had their moment. Although I think Chargers receivers dropped a decent amount of balls too, from what I can remember. They let us stay in that game till the third quarter, and then our offense just literally couldn't get anything going the whole game. It was so bad. I don't really have too much of a preference. It's a home game, so that's going to help our chances. With Denver and New England, I would prefer them, but we're not going to. If they win their division, we're not going to see them round one. I'm with you on that. I'm telling you about Bo Nix, guys. I'm just telling you, he's not that good. He's not. Denver's defense is good, but Bo Nix really isn't. New England, I just think they're limited as a team. They're limited as a team as a whole. Drake May is playing really good, but I don't think they're all the way there just yet. I think they're like a year or two away of probably where they want to be. They're ahead of schedule this year, but I think in terms of playoffs, that inexperience is going to show up. And just the fact they don't have as much firepower as they need from a whole team standpoint, both offensively and defensively. Diggs is pretty good for Drake May, though. I do like that little rapport that they got going. You saw, was it last week? Diggs was going off. Christopher Deek, I'm thinking big. Can the Steelers host the championship game? Yeah, if the wild card teams do good, or what would it be? It would actually have to be, if we're the 4 seed, it would have to be the other wild card team, the lower seed on that other game. So say, let's just do it for instance. Let me pull up the playoff bracket so I'm just not spewing a bunch of nonsense here. It would be if we're the 4 seed and let's say we play the Bills round 1. We win. What is this? We don't have it clinched yet. Okay, the NFL playoff pictures throwing me off here. They don't have us in. Okay, basically everyone's clinched in the NFC. We're the only ones that haven't clinched. It's us and the Texans. Oh, wait, no. There's one more team in the NFC. It's the NFC South between Panthers, Buccaneers. And for AFC, there's two more teams. It could be the last wild card spot and the AFC North. So anyway, I'm sorry. It's just this playoff picture's throwing me off. They have the teams that have clinched in a whole nother tier and the teams that don't. So I was like, where's the Steelers in this thing? Anyway, so it would have to be Steelers. Obviously, we win our game. So we knock off one of those wild card teams. And then, oh, wait, shit. I'm getting thrown off here. So, yeah, one of the other two, at least one of the other two, it could be both, I guess, of the other wild card games. I forgot it's 3 now. Man, the math's throwing me off. They would just have to win the following week. I think that would have to be it. But wow, I'm confusing myself. Can we have back-to-back? I don't think we can have back-to-back home playoff games. I think we have to go on the road for the divisional no matter what. Because we're the 4th seed. Or maybe not. No. It would just be, if it's basically the lower seed. If we face lower seeds. Wow, I'm confusing myself. Like, this is terrible. I should not have picked this question. Jeez, oh man. I hope you guys have better clarification in the chat here. Yeah, so it would, okay, yes. It would have to be the 2 and the 3 seed have to lose, and then the 1 seed would have to lose the following week for us to keep the home playoff games. Yeah, that's what it would have to be. 1 seed, because they're the only one with the bye. They're going to have to lose in the divisional, and we're going to have to keep winning. It's as simple as that. There you go. A2A style. What's good, bro? What's up, D? Ain't about to get a Peyton Manning Broncos send off. Wouldn't that be a welcoming sight? Don't put that on Rodgers, man. Like, Peyton Manning was literally carried by that Denver team, carried by that Denver defense. Rodgers, I would argue he's been carrying us for most of the season. He had a bad, 2 or 3 week stretch there, but Rodgers has been the team MVP. Look at his stats. What's he got? 24, 25 total touchdowns, only 7 picks. Missed a game and a half too. If he didn't miss a game and a half, he probably ends up with 30 touchdowns, a 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. What more can you ask for? Peyton Manning was terrible, bro. I think his stat line was 8 touchdowns, 17 picks that last season. And you could see him in the playoffs. We should have beat them in the playoffs if it wasn't for Toussaint fumbling down in Denver's zone. My God. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't move. He barely could throw. But I will say this. I don't think they win the Super Bowl without him. If they had Osweiler, they would have choked in the playoffs at some point. We probably would have even beat him with Osweiler. He would have, because Osweiler was a choke artist. He would have thrown picks or something. He did that in the home game against us that season. You remember that? I think we were down a couple scores second half. Big Ben, AB go on a crazy-ass run. And we win that game. I was actually at that game. That was a dope-ass game. But I think Peyton's cerebral ability, his ability to get into certain plays, make certain checks, that did help Denver win the Super Bowl. But he was really, really, really limited. Really limited. Yeah, 100%. Trey Williams 1-2-1. A-Rod has been a godsend compared to our recent QB. Say what you want. And he's been getting better as the season going on. He said it in his interview this week. He's like, I don't know what it is. Sometimes I just play better in December when it gets colder. Because it's crazy. You would think the hits, the toll of the season, his age, it just wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be as good later in the season. But I don't know. However he trains his body, however he trains his mind, whatever it is, he's doing something right. I think the fact he has arm strength to, one of the highest degrees in the league too, and he's still got that ability to spin it, can have it cut right through the wind like that. That doesn't hurt either. I don't think that hurts at all. His ability to play good when it gets colder. Unlike Tua, unlike some of these more limited quarterbacks, Rodgers, arm talent is unquestioned, and I think even at 42, that hasn't changed. Not as mobile as he once was, but the arm strength, the mindset too, the mentality, the ability to read the defense, all that stuff, that actually only gets better with time. And you heard Brady talk about that. He's like, yeah, I know what the defenses are doing more and more. It becomes more and more fun to play football the older I get because I'm able to read defenses better, able to predict things better, able to get our offense into certain plays better, and then it just becomes playing. You're just out there playing. And now with how everything's more opened up in offense and you can't hit the quarterbacks the same way that you do, like you have guys like Brady playing until he's 45, Rodgers playing at 42 at a high level. Big Ben, I think, still could have been playing at a high level into his early 40s, but the sabotage happened. Yeah, I saw this stat. Olga Kasuli, 9967. We are 0-3 in Cleveland after Ben left, but I think of who our quarterbacks are, Rodgers is not going to let that happen. I would hope not. I mean, this game is the test. We thought last week was the test. We thought the week before last week was the test, if we're for real. This is the test. This is the one. 3-0, last 3 games. Best we've looked all season. And now we got a game on the road against Cleveland with Shedeur Sanders. They're completely out of the playoffs. Nothing to play for. We've seen this before. We've seen this shit before. 0-3. You just said it. 0-3 in Cleveland. I think all those 3 games, correct me if I'm wrong, last year it was the Thursday night football game in the snow against Jameis. Remember, it's like, oh, Jameis, he's getting called up off the bench for this one. In the snow. I think we were 10-3 at the time. Browns were like 1-9. It was some ridiculous record. 1-9, 2-9. No way we lose this game. No way we lose the game. I think the year before that was Browns starting DTR. We're like 7-3, 7-4. No way we lose. We lose. And then I think that was the first game of like the next 5 or 6 weeks being the easiest schedule in the NFL too. It's like, man, first week of this easy schedule, we're going against DTR. Then we have like 4 or 5 other gimmies. We're gonna be like 9-2, 9-3 at the end of all this. We're gonna be number 1 seed in the AFC. And then we lose to the Browns, and then we end up losing to like the Cardinals, Patriots, and Colts, and all that shit. What was the one before that? What was the one before that we lost? Oh, that was Trubisky, Thursday Night Football. That was like week 3. I went to that game. Yeah, that one was still like too early in the season for it to be like a letdown game or a Tomlin loss or anything like that. But those were the 3 losses. I just took you guys down memory lane right there. 0-3 in Cleveland after Big Ben. But this is the one. Yeah, this is like the one. Just win this, man. Like, there's no reason to lose this. I don't care if TJ's out there. I kind of said it whenever we played the Dolphins. Yeah, we got injuries. Just win this game. If you're for real, you win this game. You find a way to win. You find a way to win with depth. You make it work. This is a game that you just win if you're for real. No excuses. Injuries, I don't care. You still got Rodgers. You still got some big names on this team. You bolstered up the depth in the offseason for a reason. You win this game. You win that Miami Monday night game. No questions. You're coming off the win against the Ravens, first in the AFC North. You're saying you're contenders, or you're feeling like you're contenders. You at least want to prove to yourselves in the league that you are. You win this game. You win this game. And then that Lions one was big, man. That Lions game, we were underdogs going in. TJ out, Herbig out. Harmon back in the lineup, though. See how big of a deal he is. That was a nice one, too. That was a nice one. But this is one of those along the same lines as the Miami one. It's like, there's just no excuse. Way lesser team. Way worse team. Win the game. Win the game. I don't want any excuses. Even if it's ugly, it doesn't, like, at this point, week 17, ugly win. Divisional game on the road against the Browns. Like, just get the win. I don't care. Get the win. Odds for the Super Bowl this year. I don't know. Look, what's FanDuel say? What's DraftKings FanDuel saying? That's what the odds are. I like our chances, though, amongst all these other AFC teams. Why not us? I've been saying that. At this point, maybe that narrative was different a few weeks ago, but now we're playing as good as ball as any team in the league, I'd say. Defense is actually showing up, living up to the paycheck, and the offense is best it's been since Big Ben. With Rodgers operating at the high level that he is, tandem in the running game, offensive line living up to the bill as well. They're looking like a top 10 unit. Man, what do we do with – this is a great problem to have. We actually have a good young offensive line. And multiple guys, like in terms of like depth chart and who we might be relying on in the future. This is a great problem to have. Spencer Anderson's pretty solid. Dylan Cook showing up. Roger Jones out for the rest of the season, but like we're gonna have some decisions with this O-line combination coming up. But I feel like we have a mix of really good candidates for filling the 5 spots. So that's 6 names if you want to include Frazier, McCormick, and Fautano as well. Cook, Jones, those 3 that I just listed, and then Spencer Anderson. That's 6 names to fill 5 spots. And I like all of them. That's not even talking about whether or not we bring back Sayamalu. Yeah, maybe we bump Broderick into inside, keep Cook at left tackle, and Spencer Anderson stays our like 6th offensive lineman swing tackle. And if Cook ever gets hurt, we could bump Broderick out to tackle, bump Spencer Anderson into guard. A lot of different things that we could do with this offensive line. Do I have anything else to go over? I think we're good. I don't know if I have anything else. I think we're good. Been on here for an hour, 11 minutes. Good vibes, guys. Good times, man. I was thinking about not doing the live today just because it was a weird week with the holiday and stuff. It's not like your traditional Friday, especially coming after a Christmas. I didn't know what the energy was gonna be like. I didn't know if people were gonna show up. I didn't know what the vibes were because it just doesn't feel like a normal Friday. But we here. Either way, we pressed the live button and we here, and I think it worked out pretty good. This was blast. This was a good time. Like I said, might start messing around with just more lives in general. I really like doing them. I would assume you guys like it when I do them too, because you guys show up and stuff and comment and engage. So I do like doing them. So we'll see. There might be a path for just more lives in general coming up. I think a lot of good content for 2026. I have some good ideas. 2025 was a good time to just, figure things out on my own a little bit after leaving the podcast and, just kind of, I guess delving out on my own and just figuring out like that. But now I think 2026 is going to be a good year for a bunch of shit. That's it for today's show. Let me drop the link one more time. If you guys want a hat, if you want it on discount for the weekend, type Deekmas in to the promo code. The promo code section after you add the item into your cart. There you go. Wait, did I miss a chat? I saw something from 828 Stout. Did I miss a chat? Oh, no. No, I already read this. Thank you for the chat, though, bro. That hat is trash. Nah, bro. You don't see it on me, bro? This thing looks... How could you be saying that? How does this comment exist when you got the visual of me wearing the hat and it looks this tough? How? The hat actually makes me look better today. Actually, like it does. Hat was a little bit messy earlier. Threw the hat on, it all of a sudden looked cleaned up. Look fitted out. Ready to go for the day. It's 1 million letters on there. I mean, I'm sure there's hats out there that have had more letters on them before. I bet you I'll find you a hat that has more letters and it works. All right, fair. To each their own. Maybe that just means I'll have to make some other merch that you might like. Oh man, we got a lot of people against the hats here. Black Magic has a good point. I ain't changing the hat. I'm standing by it. I have conviction in this hat. I believe in this hat. See, you can't say this. NL season champ. People are gonna think National League Baseball. NL season champs. Can't do that. Oh wow! Update for the Steelers Browns. Browns top target on offense. We were just talking about him. Fanning got injured at practice today. Groin injury. Even more so. No excuses to lose this game. Even more so. See, this is a good question. Or this is a good take. Or not a good take. A good thing to think about. Monteo, because I actually disagree. Monteo Kalo 4931 says, I'll take GP's issues over DK's issues any day. GP's issues are like team stuff, locker room, like internal chemistry things where he focuses more on him and his stats versus the team. Whereas we don't have that problem with DK. DK just had an issue with some random fan last Sunday. Like, that has nothing to do with team and team first, locker room drama, anything like that. So I would take DK's issues because, like, this thing with this fan isn't going to pop up. The GP issues, I think, are a continual thing that you got to worry about. That's all. You got to be walking on eggshells with GP. DK, you don't. Like, being GP's teammate, you always got to be concerned. Am I getting him the ball enough? Or did I say the right thing? This and that. Is he going to go to social media and complain about not getting the ball? DK, utmost professional. Don't have to worry about that at all. So I would take DK's issues. Sucks that it involved a 2-game suspension, but it's just a weird, wonky, one-off type of thing. If you want to talk about, so are you just talking about, okay, like if you want to bring up drops and say like GP's more talented than DK and DK's had more drops, those type of issues than GP, maybe you could factor that into the equation, but let's not act like GP hasn't had his moments over the last couple of years too. Both with the Cowboys and Steelers, like dropping the ball and not having the best effort out there, best block. Again, we don't have to worry about that with DK. Yes, are his hands as good as GP? They're not. Flat out right there. I don't think DK is as talented as GP. But he has his own game. He has his own ways of being productive and being impactful in an offense for sure. Like, let's not get it twisted. DK is a number one receiver. Like, he still is good, but there are moments I do wish he would come down with some of these contested catches and even some of the easier catches that GP likely would catch, but still, GP's had his moments too of dropping the ball and just not being fully there mentally. So I would take GP, or I would take DK. I would. All right, guys. I think I'm out of here. I said that about, 10 minutes ago, but I still stayed on. You guys are bringing up good content, good comments to talk about. So sometimes, like, I'm about to sign off and I see a comment, I'm just going to click on it. I'm going to read it. All right, though. I think this is official. I think I'm out of here for sure this time. Stay chilling. I'll be back. I'll be back Sunday. Yeah, Sunday after the Steeler game. Stop through. I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about. Wait, maybe even tomorrow. Wait. Oh, I was going to say, for a second there, I thought the Ravens game was tonight. It does feel like a Saturday. That's what I'm saying. Today doesn't feel like a Friday. It feels more like a Saturday coming off of Christmas. I thought the Ravens game was tonight, and I was going to say, maybe I'll just go live tomorrow, or we'll do content tomorrow, depending on what the Ravens do, because that'll be something to talk about. But the Ravens game's tomorrow night. Yeah, probably you'll see me after the Browns game. Probably. Live broadcast? No, I don't. No, I don't think the live broadcast for the Steelers Browns. I don't think. No. Maybe one in the future. We got playoff games and stuff. Maybe we'll save it for next year. I messed with one of them this year. I like just going live after the game. I like having thoughts and stuff, and then we reconvene after it here, rant, vent, get all the takes out that we need to. Broadcast after the Ravens game. We'll see. Yeah, that could be an idea. That definitely could be an idea, because that would be relevant information to talk about depending on what happens. We'll see. Most likely Steelers-Browns game, after Steelers-Browns game. And then, obviously, next week will take care of itself. So stay chilling. Peace out. Here we go, Steelers.